Thank you for being here today. We are happy to have you on board with us. Thank you for joining. And we are here today to talk about the career events. So all the career events that you can participate during the year. So for today, just one thing, 2 rules. Please mute yourself when you're not speaking so we don't have any noise problem. And turn on your camera so that we can see a bit who you are. Okay, cool. So for today, the agenda is that we are going to present ourselves. We are going to speak a bit about the different career events that you can have during the year and preparation that you need to do before the career events, but also what to do during the career events and what to do after the career event. The webcast will be about 30 minutes. And you will have 15 minutes of Q&A after that. So you have a chat where you can ask all of your questions. And we will answer to them at the end. Perfect. So I will start to introduce myself. So my name is Caroline Ponce. I'm working at PwC for 7 years now. And I'm working in human capital marketing. So I'm in charge of making you, students, discover PwC, who we are, what we do, and the different opportunities that you can have at PwC. Yes, I like to go running. I have 2 kids, 2 cats, and yes, that's me. And I will let the stand to my 2 colleagues from the recruitment. So that will be with first.
Hi, everybody. My name is Jana, as mentioned, and we're all here together in the office. Therefore, we just have to switch a little bit with our seats from right to left. I am a recruiter within PwC since 3 years. I've started in Germany, and I recently transferred to Switzerland, to Zurich. So I'm responsible for the German-speaking part of Switzerland. And, well, in general, or more specific, I recruit for our teams within tax, within legal, and a little bit within assurance for the digital assurance team. A few words to me privately as well, maybe. I studied business administration before in Cologne. I like to do yoga and Pilates. And, well, since a few months, I'm also doing some volunteering work with PwC, actually, and I help or I support a young refugee boy in Berlin, and I help him with his schoolwork. So that about me. And now, Luan.
Hello, everyone. I'm really glad to be here today to co-host this webcast series with Jana. So first of all, my name is Luam, as Jana said, and I'm a recruiter as well in the Romandie. So I'm based in Geneva, and basically I am doing recruiting for graduate and young professionals in audit field. So for those who are interested into audit in the Romandie, feel free to contact me afterwards. And so today we wanted to share with you some tips and tricks. But first thing first, we want to go and move on to the career events that you could have. So basically, I thought it was also really important for us and for you guys to know a bit more what kind of career events you could have. So basically, you would have 2 different types of career events. First of all, there is the job fairs, where actually it's a good moment where you can basically meet companies and also employees and experts to discuss with them regarding different jobs and opportunities that they have. So I would say that it's a more general event where I would recommend you to go for first quick view on what you can do and what you can expect after your studies. And there, I think it's also a good moment to introduce yourself to the recruiters there and also to the experts so that you can get a bit of a feeling of what kind of people they're looking for, what you can also expect from their side and what they expect actually from you. But you have to be a bit more prepared for that. So for that, I think Jana will give you a bit more example and advice on that. I would also recommend you, so before COVID, we used to have like physical events. so job fairs, so which was a bit more personal and human. And I think that there is also the contact that you can have with the recruiters that are really important. And then from COVID, I think that you have also noticed that we have also virtual events. I had the chance to participate from one of them last year, which was the EHL fair. That was quite an interesting one, but there I think we will give you also a bit more insight on that, because you get a bit more prepared on the technical part, so the IT stuff, and also that your attitude should be a bit more proactive. After that, I think that there is a second type of career events that you can attend, which is the workshop. So when you know a bit better what you want to do, I think it's good to participate or to attend to one workshop from a company that you are interested into it, and to get a bit more a deep dive into a case study, and to also get to know better the people that are working there. It's also a good way to get to know them better, and to have a bit more of a networking. Having said that, I think it's the two type of career events you will participate during this fall season. I will hand over to Jana so that she can also give you a bit more of tips and tricks on how to get prepared on this different career events. So Jana, your turn.
Yes, it's me again. So I think, well, what our webcast is mainly about is how to get ready for career events. And I think it's actually a very important topic that is very often a bit, well, underwhelming, or people don't really take it serious. You should actually take the moment before to get ready for certain career events. Please don't wonder, I'm checking my notes here on the left. But what I want to tell you, we divided a little bit between a physical event and an online event. I think what is first of all important to understand is that all the stuff we're saying for a physical event also applies on the online event. There are just a little bit more extras, if you want to call it that way, if you talk about an online event. So first of all, how should you get ready for a physical event? The first and most important thing is update your LinkedIn profile. I am sure that probably all of you, or I hope all of you, have heard about LinkedIn. If not, then write it down for you and check it out later. LinkedIn is a very important social network for professionals. On that, you connect with people you find interesting. You can follow companies that you find interesting. You also have the chance to really chat with people from the different companies. So it's a really, really important and great network if you're looking for, to expand your network, or actually to start having a network. I will go deeper into how does a good LinkedIn profile look like in a minute. But the second thing you should do before a career event is inform yourself about the companies. So as Luam said, there are events like fairs where there are different companies. So it makes sense if you check in the beginning, okay, who will actually attend these fairs? Who's going to be there? What am I interested in? Do I want to talk to people from PwC, for example? And what other companies do I find interesting? So it really makes sense to be a little bit prepared. Who is there? Who do I want to talk to? What field do I find interesting? Stuff like that. You can really dig deep. So go on their websites, as mentioned, check them, the employees out on LinkedIn, and just realize for yourself, what is it actually you're looking for? This leads me to my next point. What is your goal? Why do you attend the career event? Do you already know you are interested in a certain company? Then you are rather attending the workshop, as Dua mentioned, for example, because you're interested in PwC or in audit. If you just want to, if you're in the end of your studies and you want to find your future employer and you want to maybe compare a few employers, it makes sense to go to a career fair. But then it maybe also makes sense to think what is actually important to you in your future employer. So that is really important that you define your own goal, because this will not be the same for all of you, I guess. So just think about it. Take a few minutes before you attend a career event. Then I think it's also a very obvious one, but just think about certain questions you could ask. Just be a little bit prepared. Not that you're just out of the blue there and you're like, where is your office? This is something you can just find out by yourself. This is not maybe the most obvious question. Yeah, and then last but not least, if you are really looking for a job, be it an internship or really a full-time position, just take a moment before and check out the career website of the certain companies. Maybe you find a job that you find interesting and you can already write down specific questions based on that job. Then it will be very helpful for you in your future. Now, a few words to online events. I think it's quite clear what is most important. Check your IT. So obviously, if you attend a physical one, you don't need to check your IT. But if you have an online event, you should check your IT. So be prepared, have a good internet connection, make sure that you have enough battery in your laptop, make sure that you have a clean background. Maybe, something that I've experienced myself, I had a talk with a candidate and you could see the bed in the background and the bed was not made. So don't be like that candidate. Don't show that you are maybe a little bit messy. Just be a bit prepared. And if you don't have a clean background, maybe just use a fake background that you can find in Microsoft. And last but not least, there are specific, online events where you have to book slots before. So you cannot just easily go to that event and, chat with people. No, you have to book the slots in the beginning. And that is very important that you just, inform yourself again and be prepared if you have to book slots in ahead. So now going on to the LinkedIn profiles. Oh, just maybe a few words to the one in the beginning. If you have any questions, now we cannot really interact, but if you have any questions to what me or Luam are saying, please write it down. We're happy to answer them afterwards. So now going on to the LinkedIn profile. We've put in 2 QR codes, and actually, I hope it works for you. I hope you can see the QR codes. If you can, please scan them, and you will have a good example and maybe not so good example yet of possible LinkedIn profiles. So I'm also scanning it at the moment that I can really go deep into it. So please start from the left one. And here we have, just an example of a LinkedIn profile. It's actually of our apprentice. He was so kind to let us use his profile. So thank you, Romain. And what I just want to make sure. So first of all, there is not a super bad LinkedIn profile. So we don't want to tell him that his LinkedIn profile isn't good, but there are some certain things that you can do better. So basically, we're just quickly, if you scroll down, you see he has a few contacts already. Not many, he has 5. He wrote down what he's currently doing, which is good. He's an apprentice in PwC. Since when? That is also good. And he wrote down what he has done before, that he went to the gymnasium. I don't really know if you say it in English like that. Anyways, so you see he writes down what he's doing and what he has done, but he doesn't really go deep into his specific responsibilities. Now, if you scan the second QR code on the right, you see Caroline, who has done the introduction, and she has a very good LinkedIn profile. It would even be perfect if it would be in English. So that's the only downside. It's in French. So for all of you who are from the Romandie, I'm sure you understand it. For me, who is not able to speak French fluently, I don't understand everything, but it doesn't really matter, because what is important is that you see she wrote down her specific tasks, her specific responsibilities. She really goes deep down into her tasks. And this is what we as recruiters are looking for. We want to know, where do you work? Great, like Romain wrote it down. But we also want to know, what are you actually doing? Because, you can work at PwC and you can be an auditor. You can be a recruiter like us. You can be whatever. And if you don't write anything down on LinkedIn, we will never know. So use this chance to really write down everything you're doing. There cannot be too much. I mean, maybe that's, but there can be too much, but just be specific to your responsibilities and tasks. if you go further down, you also see that she wrote down where she went, where she studied, what are her strengths, where is she good in, and that is really important that you use that. So now you see it in German here, which is also not better, but it's basically your strengths, and really use that in LinkedIn, because when we as recruiters look for people, we are looking for strengths, and it's really helpful if you put in some strengths in LinkedIn. And then last but not least, you see that she got some, now I'm missing the English word, Empfehlung, recommendations from colleagues or from her bosses, which is obviously always helpful as well to see that you get recommendations from your previous employers. So I hope that was interesting for you to see what is important on LinkedIn. Again, if you have any other questions, please write it down. Now, last but not least, just a few words to the dress code. Yeah, not sure if you see the dress code. Dress code, obviously in a bit of a funny way, but it is important that you dress accordingly. So we don't expect you to come fully suited up with a tie or something. That is not what we expect. But please just check your wardrobe. Please, you don't come in jeans which maybe have holes, or in your outfit that you would wear at the gym. That is not really accordingly. So just wear a bit of a smart casual outfit, maybe some chinos, maybe a blazer, and that is good. Just think about how would you make a good impression, and most importantly, feel good in your wardrobe. So it's important that you feel comfortable and that you also feel yourself in what you're wearing. We just wrote down a few possible questions that you just have some examples what you could ask at a career fair. Again, these are just examples. It's important that you think of your goal yourself. But what we just want to quickly highlight is there are different people participating in career events and in fairs. So there are people from human resources like Luam and me, the recruiters. So we know general things about the company. So you can ask general questions. You can ask, how does my CV look like? Is it good? Is my LinkedIn good? Stuff like that. And there are also people who are really from the roles, so from the business. So for us, for example, people from audit or people from advisory. And these people are there to answer your questions really specifically about the position itself. So it makes sense to really ask them, what do you like about your job? Or how did you end up working in the job you're working in? So just understand in your mind that there are two different people attending these fairs, recruiters, and we call it experts or people who are working in the business. And then you have to ask the questions basically based on these profiles. Great. I think this was a long monologue from me. I would hand over to Luam again to tell you a bit more how to behave during a career event.
Hello back. So thank you so much again, Jana. So I would like to touch base again about how you should behave during this kind of career events. I think that the most important things when you have first set your goals, that you know that you want to talk to specific, for example, companies, or you are actually joining a workshop. So you have already prepared all your questions and also how you are going to present yourself. So I think it's also really important when you get in contact with a recruiter to just introduce quickly yourself, so that they can understand from which field you are studying, what kind of job you're looking for, and also what kind of experience they actually attend you to have. But for sure, when you're a graduate, we do not expect a lot. But I think it's really important that you should not come with a gum and try to just look for goodies, or just not really interested into what the people are doing. I think it's also a matter of respect, because they're coming for you guys to get to know you a bit better, to give you a bit more information. So I think the most important thing is the first impression. So as we say in French, is you don't have a second good first impression. So I think it's really important to bear in mind that for the first time, you have to act like professionals, that you are really curious about what they are maybe offering for you. And there, I think it should be the most thing that you should remind before you go to this kind of career events. Now I will move on to maybe a few advice that we can give you on the CV, because as you should be able now to see on the different CV. So again, our apprentice did the right job to show you like 2 different CVs. On the right side, you can see that it's a summarized one, but you can also see some specific few mistakes. If you check on the experience side, you can see that the dates are not chronological, that you cannot see it really or understand what exactly he did during his experience. So as Jana told you before regarding the LinkedIn profile, I think it should be the same. So we should present kind of the same thing in your CV as in your LinkedIn profile, but there take the time to have a bit more of explanation on your different experience, and choose maybe 1 or 2 different projects on which you worked, and that was maybe interesting, and you maybe spent like a few months on it, and you had like obviously a good grade at the end. That would be the cherry on the cake. And also another quick advice, it's also check again your contact details, because I already had the case that, for example, candidates just forgot to give the right numbers because they changed the number like a few months ago because they had a new iPhone. And it's a bit difficult to get them over the phone. And also sometimes people are missing the email address. Make sure that you have all these contact details really up to date, so that the recruiter or the human resources person responsible for the recruitment can actually contact you and get in touch and maybe to initiate the recruitment process with you. And also on your studies, I think it's also really important to make sure that you have presented and summarized your studies. For example, you can also maybe mention your bachelor thesis, what you did, if it's something that could relate to the job, for example. So these are actually all the advice that we can share with you today, with Jana. But make sure that if you have any specific question, you can also take the time to write it down now, and we will be more than happy to answer to all these questions with Jana at the end of the session. So I think that's the advices that I could share with you regarding the CV. So we will proceed to the after the career events, because there is a after career events nowadays. As you know, that we are really well connected to each other, that we are networking, that we all have LinkedIn profile up to date. I think it's really important to link with people that you met during the career events, because they kind of have an idea of the person who they talked with, and they get maybe also have a chat with them afterwards, so that if you have like a specific question on a job opportunities or internship, or maybe even a career advice, you can connect with them and have a quick chat with them as well afterwards. So I think this is it. We did like a small presentation on that. So we count on you to maybe write down for a few minutes the question that you might have for us. And I think we will proceed in a few minutes in the Q&A session. So I can already see like a first question from Luca. Thank you, Luca. So what kind of strengths are you looking for? So specifically for PwC, I think one of the really important thing is the personality, because we know that you guys have like a really nice, I mean, in Switzerland in general, we have really a nice universities. Most of the studies are really well known and also recognized. So this is not a really a big challenge to get really good academic backgrounds. But for sure, we want to work with people who are team spirit, who has a really great team spirit, because as you might know, working for a Big Four specifically, it could be a bit challenging sometimes. But I think that it's also really important that we have a great team spirit, because we really go through thick and thin together. We try to work together when it's long days of work, and also because it's really fun to have after work together and to get to know a bit more to each other and maybe get friends. So that's what I would maybe say. It's more about the personality, so that we get along with the team within PwC. Maybe we can have a second. Yes, so the second question would be, what kind of email address is expected in a CV, Gmail, university? To be completely honest, we do not have like a preferred one, because basically I think it's really important that we just can reach out to you. But obviously, if you have your university email address, make sure that you can get the email address for a long period of time. Not that it does disappear when you finish your studies. So I would rather maybe just recommend you to use one that is already yours, that you don't have any problem to lose it or to not connect again after your studies. So that's for me. Maybe we can. Do you want to take the yeah?
So the next question is, if I'm at a fair and notice a company that I don't know before but interests me, can I still go and meet the representative? Yes. I mean, it's just obviously, it's good if you just inform yourself before, but of course it can sometimes happen that somebody has, for example, I don't know, a super creative stand, which makes you realize, whoa, this actually looks interesting. What are they doing? And that is obviously what companies also want. They want to attract people that maybe didn't know about them before. So yes, you can do it, and you can actually say that. You can say, hey, I've just seen your career stand. I've actually never really heard about you, or I've heard about you, but I don't really know what you're doing, or I've heard about you, but I don't really see myself in your company. Would I maybe fit? So you can do that. It's just better if you have for yourself a little bit of a list of possible employers and companies that you yourself want to see.
Then another question. So do you have any advices regarding virtual interviews? Yes, of course. And we can also maybe redirect you to one of the webcast series that we did last year. It was also an HR topic regarding the specific advice that we can share with you regarding the virtual interviews. But I think that mainly all the advices that Jana shared with you regarding the virtual events should apply to a virtual interview. So cleaning your background, having your IT check done before you connect to the interview. And then what I would suggest you is that to basically act as you would be at the actual interview. So you are meeting people, so don't be afraid to share a bit more of yourself. Don't bother regarding this virtual technology stuff. I think it should still be a human exchange. So don't also forget to ask your question regarding the job interview, because I think it's also really interesting to say that during the virtual interview, we want to get to know you better and to make sure that you are a good fit for us, but same in your side, because obviously if you get to know us better and you feel like, oh, maybe it's not exactly what I was expecting, and maybe the job is not exactly what I want, or maybe the people that you're meeting is not exactly the same vibe as you are. So I think you should also take advantage to this exchange and to really get into it. Don't worry, and people are really more than happy to exchange with you during this interview.
Maybe just on a note to that, I think what is also important is to realize you are on camera for 60, 90 minutes. So don't I don't know, for example, make that in your chair or
just
or
be
just
like this.
Use your,
hello.
Exactly. So just realize you are in a camera. Maybe also use your hands like you would do in a normal conversation. Just basically realize you are still in a professional environment, even though you're maybe in your room or whatever. And that is not easy in the beginning, but it helps you to be in that mindfulness, to realize this is a professional interview. So be prepared to act like that. Maybe, I don't know, sit in front of your chair, sit straight, that you are just in that mindset and not in that maybe gaming mindset where you're normally at when you sit on the chair. So that is really important, to basically use your hands, act as if you're in a conversation, look in the camera, try to do some eye contact, and I'm sure you will do great. So the next question is, if you should put the link to the LinkedIn profile in the CV. That's actually a very good question, and I don't know what you say, but I would say it's a good idea. I mean, it's always helpful. I personally check it out. I think even there is no right or wrong, because obviously you can also find the person on LinkedIn even though there is not the link. But I think it just also shows a little bit of an IT skill if you're able to do that. So why not?
Yeah, I think it's a good idea. I think that also the manager will maybe will connect with you, and you can also directly chat with them through LinkedIn. It's a bit easier if you don't have the email address or the professional email address. I think it should be also something really nice to have. And I don't know if we have still a few questions. Okay. Okay. How would you start the conversation at the stand? Well, basically, I would say hello. That's a good start, right? No, I mean, I would just try to get a nice contact with somebody from the stand, first of all, so that you see if they are available and ready to have a quick chat with you. Then just say hello, that you are interested into this company, and that you would like to know more about a specific thing, because you would have already a few questions prepared. So I think it's like a normal chat. People are really more than happy to talk with you, to share with you information. They are there for that, actually. So really do not hesitate to really get in contact with them, as it would be in the in the street with people, but a bit more professional, obviously. But I think it's you should not be afraid. They're more than happy to answer your questions. So start like as you would start like on the phone. It's the same, I think. Do you have any other thing to add, or I think it's good? I think
that's good. Yeah,
good.
So that's a good question. Should we bring our CV to the stands? So. The biggest thing we say to that is data protection, or data security. We cannot collect CVs if we are on a career fair. I think this is really important to highlight, just because it's your data, and we are not allowed to just take it home, put it I don't know where. So no, basically, if you want to bring a CV, to give it to us, to hand it out to us because you think you can apply through that, that is not possible. We cannot do that. If you want to take your CV, and for example, sometimes there are slots where you can get some tips for your CV, then you can do that, because of course maybe you can use the chance to get some tips for your CV. But if you want to do it to apply for a position, then the answer is no. At least for PwC, we cannot take CVs in careers fair due to data protection.
That was a good one, because I have most of the candidates or students that are approached us during the career fairs. They're asking for that. Not that you think it's not nice from our side to not taking it, but I think it's also really important that you know why we cannot take it. Do you recommend English for LinkedIn profile, or German, French is fine? Well, I think that nowadays, as we are more than before connected to the whole world, I would say. So I would recommend you to have it in English, because we never know. If you want to apply to a position, you're based, for example, in Zurich, but you have a position that is really important, really interesting for you in Geneva. It's easier if people are connecting with you through LinkedIn. They can just check it out and see and understand it, because if it's in your local, your native language, maybe it could be difficult for them to read it through it. So yeah, English is good. So Noor has a question for us. When apply for the audit internship, October 2022? Good question. I see people are interested into audit. That's nice to hear. And I think what I can say is that it's coming. Like all the job ads are getting online at the moment. So I would recommend you to have a look to our career website, and to check our offers. I think that in Zurich we already have most of the job online. In Geneva and Lausanne it will get online by the end of the week. So do not hesitate to get in touch with us, and I would be more than happy for the Swiss Romand to get in touch with you and to have a quick chat with you afterwards.
So, and then we have another question from Andrea. Do you consider online courses as a valuable asset to show to recruiters? I think it depends. So there are certain online courses which are super valuable based on the position you're applying for. I give you an example. If you want to apply for digital assurance, which is looking for people who have also IT skills, and you've maybe studied business administration, but you've done an online course in Power BI or in Alteryx, great, put it on your CV. If you have done an online course in, I don't know, what is it? Yoga teacher, yes. That is interesting to talk about in an interview, but it's not relevant for that specific job. So you can put it in your LinkedIn, because why not? If I would put it in my CV, really only if it fits to the job you're applying for. And otherwise, I think it's a great asset for yourself, because you probably develop further. But if it's not relevant for the job, I wouldn't put it in the CV.
But also, as Jana said, maybe not in the CV, but when you're introducing yourself and you're talking about you as a person, you would for sure talk about your hobbies and stuff. I think it's really nice to say that you're into yoga and that you did this course and that now you're teaching it. It shows that you have something that helps you to get a bit of balance in your life. And it's also really nice to see that you're doing it like really seriously, kind of. I mean, yeah, it's nice to have.
Yeah, maybe yoga is actually maybe yoga is another thing, because you can also put that on your CV when you talk about the hobby. But if you, for example, I don't know, I've done a course in digital marketing, and maybe that is not super important for, again, if you apply for digital assurance. So I hope it came across what we mean. The skills or the online courses should fit to the position you're applying for. But of course, if you've done a yoga training or a Pilates training or football trainer license, whatever, it shows what you are as a person, and that defines you and makes you an interesting candidate based on your personal experience. Okay, Luca, first question: can we follow you on LinkedIn? Yes, you can.
I think it's obvious, right?
You can. We always publish great job ads, so you can follow us. Second, is English the main language at PwC?
Yeah, I think we can say that, because as you know, we have Switzerland is basically a country where we speak 4 languages, if I can also take attention to the Romanche. But I think that what is really important to know is that across Switzerland, all the internal communication are in English. So you should be fluent, at least at a C1 level, because it helps you to kind of, to talk with your colleague in Zurich. For example, with Jana, I don't speak German. She start to speak French, so she's getting better, but we still speak to each other in English. So it's I think really important to bear in mind that English is an important language for PwC.
So, and now, even if a fair is in German, can we speak in English? As an example, the Absolventenmesse in Zurich. Yes, you can. So, of course, the fair is maybe in the Swiss-German part, but we know that there are lots of people who actually don't speak German. So that is fine. I mean, if you feel more comfortable in English, or if you don't speak German, that is also fine to talk in English. Obviously, we can only now speak for us, but I'm sure that 99% of the people who are attending that fair from the company side are able to speak English. So again, I think all the companies in Switzerland know that German or French in Normandy is not the only language spoken in that country, and therefore everybody is able to speak English and also have to do it.
Now the last question. So what do you expect at looking at the LinkedIn profile, since the CV and the profile share similar info? Wow, quite a good one, right?
It's a good question. Shall I start?
Yes, sure.
I think what is helpful is to see, I mean, first of all, does it match? There are lots of people who put quite different things in their LinkedIn profile than on their CV. For example, again, what we showed you in the end, what Caro had were recommendations from previous employers. You cannot have them in your CV. That is super interesting. Also, maybe what do you post? Maybe you have projects by yourself. Maybe you share things with your network which are super interesting, and we don't see that on your CV. So these are really interesting things. And I think, and then maybe you can add if you have to. But I think what we want to make clear why we talk a lot about LinkedIn is exactly that thing that we don't take CVs up front. We cannot collect the CV up front because it's due to data protection. But we can connect on LinkedIn, and that's why it's not that we say you should have an updated LinkedIn but not a CV. That is definitely not what we're looking for, but it's just important to use the LinkedIn, maybe also on a completely different level, because on LinkedIn you can just connect without maybe applying for a specific job. The CV you can send in if you want to apply for a specific job, and I think this is the main difference between LinkedIn and the CV.
And also, I think that if I can add to what Kiana said, is that LinkedIn is also a good way to follow someone's activity, so that you get a bit more information on what's going on at the moment. And if it's not really necessarily now that you have a contact with this person, maybe in 6 or 1 year time, you will have something that is really important or interesting to share with this person, and it's much more easier to get into the email message and just to have a quick chat with the specific person. And this is not possible when you're just applying for a job. You just have the recruitment process, and it's whether you're in or out. And I think it's nowadays it's how we connect with people. It's a networking thing. So yeah. Do it.
Yeah, it's a great add-on.
Yeah.
All right.
Great. I think that's a wrap. So we were really happy to present and to co-host this webcast here today with you. So feel free to connect with us, as we said, and we will be more than happy to answer your specific question as well. And yeah, so have a nice afternoon, and see you soon. I think that Caroline, we have something also to add to this, so we will hand over to her. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Have a great afternoon. Bye-bye.
Hello again. Well, thank you. I hope you enjoyed the webcast, and thank you very much to Jana and Luan who shared all of this information with you. I just would like to remind you, I'm sorry we weren't able to answer all of the questions, but if you want to join us through our career website or LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, don't hesitate. We'll be happy to answer to your question. And just also to remind you about the next events coming. So we will have the Explore the Big Four, another webcast on digital audit or financial audit workshop in Geneva, but we have many more. You can find them all on our career website, and we will be happy to see you again and talk to you during these events. And yes, so just also the information to stay in touch with us. So yes, I hope you enjoyed the webcast. Thank you again for attending. And you will find this webcast in a few weeks or so again in our career website. It was recorded, so if you want to look again and check some information, you will be able to do it. Thank you again. I wish you a nice day, and I hope to see you soon on other events. Bye-bye.